Hello, hello, hello. My name is Robert. I am the recovery guy, and you have entered into The Fix. Hello, and thank you so much for rejoining Recovery Guy Podcast. Very excited to be in front of the microphone with you today and bringing you just a week filled with opportunity to learn and to grow and to share our experience, strength, and hope with each other. You know, always remember that we have so many medium outreaches. Obviously, recovery_guy on Instagram, the Recovery Guy on Facebook, recoveryguy.org on our website, and then, of course, through all the major podcast channels where you can catch the Recovery Guy podcast. And we try to create as many outlets as possible that no matter when you need us, how you need us, or what you need us for, the Recovery Guy team is available to you, not only to help you get through alcohol and drugs. For so many of my listeners, that's not an issue. It's learning how to live. It's learning how to adopt. It's learning how to adapt. It's learning how to overcome. It's learning how to be preactive and proactive rather than reactive. For all those reasons, we are here for you today. So no matter how you get to us, we're glad that you did. You know, a number of years ago, you know what? Today's podcast is just simply called Today, right? This is where we're at. This is where we're going to stay. And this is where our focus is going to be on understanding that how we live out our day today touches tomorrow, next week, next month, next year in a cumulative effect. But today's podcast is simply called Today. And I got this from not only my personal friend, but someone that I admire. There's this cat named Randy Garn. And I got a chance to get to know Randy on a personal and professional level back in 2006. And just a little bit about Randy. You can find Randy on LinkedIn as Randy Garn. You can also find him on Instagram under Randy Garn. You might want to check out some of his things. Very encouraging, very uplifting, really involved in a community of holistic healing and health and entrepreneurialism, how to really find and tap your value and your ability and then turn it into an opportunity to become a better version of you, right? Which we all want to be, and our goal here at Recovery Guy. But also, sometimes we have an opportunity to show how to translate that in a more tangible or financial form. Randy was a New York Times bestseller, Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. He's a business builder. Randy's got great credentials. And again, check him out. Go see what he's doing. And if there's any way that he or his organization can assist you, I'm sure that they would look at that. So let's get to today, right? How is your day going? That's one of the first things I want to know. Steve Harvey did this great thing on how to wake up in the morning, and I think I have put it on one of my links before, one of my podcasts before. But you know what? As part of today's podcast and the things that we're going to cover that Randy supplied for us, I'm gonna put that link in again by Steve Harvey, because really what we have is today, right? You know, in Alcoholics Anonymous and the big book, it talks about what we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual conditioning. And you look at any philosophy, whether it's a secular or a spiritual approach to living, it is about the now. It is about today. It is about keeping things in perspective, because really, I can't control tomorrow. I can't control next week or next month or next year or the next decade. But what I do have power over is what I'm doing right now. What am I doing today? Because again, as it says in the Kalidasa, in the Sanskrit poem, today well lived, right? That's the precursor. Today well lived, and how it affects yesterday's and how it affects tomorrow's. But it is today. And you've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. Tomorrow never comes, folks. I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble, but tomorrow, it doesn't come. Because when we get to tomorrow, guess what it is? You got it. It is today. So let's jump right into some of the things that Randy talks about and then even his bullet underneath it. And then we'll talk about how to extrapolate it out to the bigger picture of what we talk about on this podcast, right? Becoming the best possible version of me so I can assist you in becoming the best possible version of you. And the next person, and the next person, and the next person, right? One person at a time, one opportunity at a time, but there's a cumulative effect that begins to occur. So many in our recovery movement are combining. And one of the things I really like to do is find like-minded people through my different social media sources and sort of link them together so they can share common life experiences. And that's been really a lot of fun. Sometimes I'm still a part of that experience with them, and sometimes I'm sort of handing them off to someone, or someone will be handing them off to me. I had a great conversation with one of my friends yesterday. And she was saying, I've got this friend who's really, she doesn't trust well. She's in a rut. I'm pretty sure she has a problem with addiction. Can we figure out a way to get your content to her so that she can feel safe, and maybe she might even reach out to you. So I've done that with other people as well. I've got my great friend Susie, MD in Florida, and Susie is a member of Al-Anon and her pursuit to wellness with her and her teenagers and what she has overcome and overcoming and having victory in things where she used to be a victim, right? And so a lot of times I'll find someone who is been damaged by someone of addiction, of bad behavioral choices, and I'll sort of hand that person off to my friend Susie, and then I have very little, if no, contact with them moving forward, because really, once I hand them off, and I trust that they're in good hands, and I just leave them back, and if the universe brings them back to me, then so be it. But I feel that I've done my job and my opportunity as being more of a conduit rather than the resource, but a conduit to the resource. Maybe you've had those opportunities in your life as well. So whatever life brings us as an opportunity to use our elevated status and what we're attracting to ourselves, then let's make the most of it, right? So you ready to jump into the deep end of the pool with today? Here we go. Here's what Randy was saying. Today, have a clear, detailed execution plan for a successful day planned out and live it, right? How important is that? And I love the adjectives: clear, detailed execution plan, right? And then it's going to be successful day planned out. Without clarity and without detail, do you ever notice how those words go together? And I really love Randy's choice of words here. To clearly detail. Do you ever go to the optometrist for an eye exam? And they put different lenses on you, and they flip and they say, okay, is 4 good here, 3 good there? Is 2 good there, 5 good there? What's better, 6 or 7? All those different things that they do, flipping to try to give you real clarity for the chart, right? On the wall there, because they need you to see it clear, but it's not enough to just see it clear where I can differentiate, is it a D or is it a C or is it a B or is it an E, what have you, or an E or an F. But I want to see the detail because I really need to drill down because if I'm going to use that as my executable plan for the day, I need to see in clear detail. That way I don't get to the end of my day and wonder what went wrong. So am I working from a position of clear detail, right? And then I love the fact that it's an execution plan, right? And that's action, right? What good is a plan, right? Because a plan is just a piece of paper, right? Because again, plans are like goals. They need to be written. Zig Ziglar will tell us that in his goals class. But it needs to be very clear, even like that, very clear, leaving no doubt that what we're seeing or the detail, or you could even use the word depth, right? The depth, how far and how clear we can see into it, right? I know Randy is a very proficient fly fisherman, goes into some unbelievable waters, and he wants clear detail of what's going on in the stream because it will help him to cast in whatever they do when they fly fish, right? I don't think I could be a good fly fisherman. That looks far too, and other fly fishermen probably laugh at me that they'll probably say it's easy, but that whole whipping action, right? But they need clarity. They need some detail, and then they need to execute that plan, which obviously is to get that fish on the hook. And then, so we want to be successful in our day. And in order to be successful, we do need to have a clear, detailed execution plan, and then we need to go live that plan out. So we live it, right? We live it. It is a form of our expression. It's a form of who we are, right? Why have a plan that's not yours? Why would I want to work Randy's plan, or why in the world would Randy want to work my plan, right? Even though we might have very similar goals and desires in our life, happy family, happy wife, happy children, a good relationship with God as we understand God. But it's my plan. It works for me. It might work for Randy to a degree, but there wouldn't be clarity or a detail for him to further execute that plan. So it needs to be for us so we can be successful in our living that plan out. Now, sometimes we might want to live out someone else's plan while we're learning to, create our own. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of just borrow from someone else until you can find something that's, perfectly adaptable to who you are as a person, to clearly reflect what you want to accomplish in life. The next thing that Randy says for today is believe and act as if everything you want for yourself and your family is possible. Now, I know on the surface that seems simple, and it should be, except we get sometimes too far ahead of ourselves. We want things now that could be for later, or we want things that we're not capable of producing or keeping once we get to them. But once we find what those things are, we believe and act as if everything I want for me and my family is possible. Believe and then act upon that belief. It's so important, just like having that executable plan in step 1. When I get to step 2, I need to take that and believe and act as if everything that I had clear detail in my executable plan is something that's going to benefit me and my family. And then I go make it happen because it is possible. Why would I want to believe and act on a plan that isn't likely to occur, or the possibility of it is not likely to occur? I've wasted all that time. Stephen Covey would talk about, climbing the ladder of life and realize that you're leaning against the wrong wall. How very, very discouraging that can be. So I want to lean against the right wall. I want to lean against the wall of possibility. And then as a result of that, believe and act that it will occur. Everything I want. It might not occur right now in this moment, but for today, I'm acting as if it is and can be. And what comes to me, comes to me. And then maybe I still incorporate that into tomorrow's plan. Because the cool thing about this is, even though it's a plan of today, doesn't mean I can't move it forward as my plan for today when today happens to be tomorrow, right? You get it? I can move this plan forward. It can stay today, and every day that I come across is going to be today, right? Eventually, today being Monday, eventually Thursday is going to be today, right? Even though it's a few days down the road. I don't got to worry about it. I just got to focus on today. And when I get to Tuesday will be today, and so on and so on. So every day moves forward. So every day I can build on the possibilities of the previous day, because then it was today as well. The next thing, I love this a lot. This is so important. I did a podcast a number of months ago. I think the title was, Your Opinion of Me is None of My Business, right? And it doesn't mean that I don't use people's perspective as at least a sounding board, right? Because contempt prior to investigation is a bar against all information and will lead to everlasting ignorance. So, but Randy's point is great for today. As I'm pursuing my executable plan and I'm believing and acting as if it is possible, sometimes a detour is when I would allow. So Randy's point is, do not allow other people's limited perceptions define who you are or what you are becoming. That is so true, because I need to become who I need to become based on where I believe God wants me to be, right? In this case, to thine own self be true. I can't be going back and forth. And again, I appreciate that Randy isolated the people here, and it's people with limited perceptions. Now, I'm going to allow Laura, who, you know, Laura and I will be married 31 years this May. So Laura is someone with vast perception. Laura really knows me, maybe better than anyone else. And then like my sister Mary, there's some really significant people in my life. My children know me very, very well. And so I have an open ear to what their perception or perspective could be. And also I trust where their view comes from, right? And it's not telling me that I'm not good or I'm not right. It's just saying, try this approach or that approach, and maybe you'll get better. They have a very great perception. But Randy's talking about people with a limited perception of me. They could be limited because they don't know me very well, or in the area that they do know me, it's different from the area that they want to give a perspective in, right? And it's like, letting someone see me with a limited visual perception or ability to understand who I am, because that can interfere with what I'm trying to become. It really can, right? So I don't go to my dermatologist for emotional conditions, because Dr. Williams has a limited perception of what's going on with me on a spiritual or interpersonal level, any more than I would ask a behavioral scientist for a question regarding melanoma. They have limited perceptions, right? And the same way with other people in our life. Do not, especially for today, and we practice this every day, for today, don't allow other people's limited perceptions define who you are or what you're becoming. Especially early on in recovery, this can be very dangerous, because now we find ourselves swinging way to the left and then swinging way to the right, way to the left and way to the right, when really what we want is balance. So what I would suggest that you do is maybe find someone who knows you and who has some vested interest in you, and you can trust that their perception is based on a larger sample of who you are. The next thing is do the best you can with the best that you've got. This is so simply profound. The best we can with the best we've got. You know, in my 34 years of journey in recovery, I have found I have so much more at my disposal today than I did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, certainly when I first came into the program. But I want to learn how to use the most of what I have most, right? It makes sense to maximize the best with the best that I have. I owe that to me. I don't want to leave anything on the table when it comes to the resources that have been made available to me. And I need to do the best possible job with that. So if you can look in the mirror and honestly say to yourself, you know what? I did the best I could with the resources that I have. Then we know we are acting in our own best position. We have to make sure, because we can't rely on other people to act to the same degree on our behalf as we would act on our behalf, because we're the owner of all that we have. We are the owner of what we are becoming. We are the owner of what we will become. So doing the best that you can with the best that you've got helps ensure our best results. Doesn't that make sense? I like that. Matter of fact, I'm going to recommit myself to that right now, because my day still has a lot more to it. So I'm going to recommit to making sure that everything possible, right? Do you love a good sundae? Do you love a good dessert? Do you leave anything on the plate, right? We're given this incredible dessert, and we make sure we eat that the best possible way, the best way we can with the best that we have been given. And the same thing here, right? I need to take the best of God as I understand God. I need to take the best of the resources I've been given. I need to take the best version of me possible and build on that to make sure that I maximize my energy for the day. Very important. Now, 5, today, ensure that you are living out your dreams and not living in your fears. That is so important, to live out your dream and not living out or living in your fears. You know, our fears will hold us back from our dreams. You know, our dreams are a manifestation of what we want to accomplish. And again, if we go back to the goals and being achievable, like in number 1, that clear, detailed execution plan, it can incorporate our dreams. Dreams are so important to have, to dream of, to think of, to desire something on an emotional, spiritual, and mental level. Someday I want to be that person. Someday I want to accomplish that. Someday I want to experience that. And daily, one day at a time, we come closer to that dream, where on particular days, those dreams become our reality and our sense of accomplishment as we've lived out that plan, because fears will keep us from it. False evidence appearing real, which is a great acrostic for fears, false evidence appearing real, will keep me from achieving my dreams. Oh, I'm afraid that once I get it, I won't know what to do with it. Oh, I'm afraid that I'm not worthy of it. Oh, I'm afraid of how people will view me if I do achieve this, right? All the different reasons that prevent us, that stunt us, that distract us or detour us from that dream is usually a fear that something that could happen won't happen, right? Most all of my fears in life that keep me from accomplishing my greatness, they're not real. They can't hurt me. They can't stop me. The only reason my fears stop me, for the most part, is because I give them permission to stop me. I need to take that power back. I need to incorporate the energy, the excitement, the desire to fulfilling that dream and have that dream become more powerful than anything I'm afraid of. And I'm not saying don't be afraid of anything. I think it's natural to become fearful from time to time, but understand what they are. Be willing to move through them, to walk through them, to set them aside and say, you're not going to stop me. You're not going to keep me, because I know that feeling that I have right now of inadequacy is not based in fact, because I am adequate, and therefore I'm going to achieve this dream because I am worth it. Don't you love how that can be? And then Randy ends this all by saying, win the day. And a big thumbs up. Win the day. You know, if I approach today with a clear, detailed execution plan, and then I go live it, and then I believe and act as if I want everything I want for myself and my family, I believe that's possible today, then today I don't allow other people's limited perception define who I am or what I can become. Don't let someone else's limited view be a stumbling block for my accomplishment, my personal achievement. And as our dear friend Tony Robbins talks about, our personal power, right? Then today I do the best I can with the best that I've got. You know what? Because I owe that to me, right? And I hope you owe that to you. You are wonderful. You are magnificent. You are created, right? And designed by our Creator. And we are designed for greatness. Why not be great? And then finally, today, ensure that you are living out your dreams and not living in your fears. Don't allow the things that aren't true stop us from the things that are true. I am worthy of accomplishing my dreams and living in my dreams. Right? And that's what I know. That's what I have learned. And you know what I know? So are you. So are you. Live out your dream of becoming the best possible version of you. Sometimes dreams are things that we do. Sometimes they are what we have. More often than not, they are what we feel about ourselves. There was a time I couldn't look at me because I was such a poor image of who I wanted to be. And I didn't dream because I was convinced they weren't going to occur. But today, all of that is turned around. I am living the dream. I often will pray with Laura and will thank God. I'll say, God, thank you for allowing me to live this crazy life that I live. I am living the dream. Be the dream. Live the dream. Experience the dream. Help others accomplish the dream. Win the day. Because today is ours to win. Again, recoveryguy.org, the Recovery Guy podcast on all the major podcast channels. And on recoveryguy.org, you can see where you can link up to all the podcast channels. Look at my videos on Vimeo.com. Just search the Recovery Guy. Go to recovery_guy on Instagram. Find my material, message me, let me know how I can help you become the best possible version of who you are. And let's go from broken to whole together. My name is Robert, and I am the Recovery Guy.
I was trying to do everything I could on my own, and I was dying.